The rain hadn't just fallen, it had wept. Thick grey clouds hung low over Enugu City. By the side of the road, just beside a flower shop with fading paint, sat Papa Jude, a retired schoolteacher known for his kind heart and quiet strength. He wore a clean but faded white shirt, tucked into well-worn trousers. His sandals, once black, were now the color of dust and years. As the clouds began to clear, a sound rose from the road. Vroom! A sleek midnight blue Range Rover Velar cut through the streets like it owned the city. Behind the tinted glass, with her designer shades still on despite the cloudy sky, sat Cassandra, fashion influencer and a daughter of a politician. She wasn't watching the road. She was live on Instagram adjusting her filter. Papa Jude looked up as the SUV sped closer. He moved slightly, unsure if the car would slow down. It didn't. Splash! A powerful wave of brown water slapped into him. His shirt turned dark. His glasses flew off and landed in the mud. The stool shook under him. Across the road, a mother screamed, "Ha! You splashed him!" Pedestrians froze. A keke driver turned down his radio. For a few seconds, the only sound was the dripping of rainwater from the old man's soaked shirt. The car didn't stop. It slid to a smooth halt just a few meters ahead. The back window rolled down slowly like a scene in a movie. Cassandra leaned toward the window, her glossy lips curved in a smirk. "Old man, if you want to bath, do it at home. This is a city, not a village square." Then the window rolled up, and the car pulled away. The silence it left behind was heavy. One girl gasped. "Did she really say that?" An Okada rider spat on the ground. Shame. But Papa Jude bent down quietly. He picked up a crushed orange and placed it back in the torn bag. He looked up slowly and his eyes glistened. But not from the water. "I am all right," he said softly, brushing his sleeve. "Let her go, the world is round." Far away inside Enugu Mall, Cassandra tossed her bag to a store clerk and posed in front of a full-length mirror. She opened her phone and smiled. "New post. If you're not above them, they will drag you down. Boss chick. Hashtag stay golden." Her followers went wide. Yes. Crush them. Slay with no mercy. Queen energy only. The sun had gone down, but the weight of the day still clung to Papa Jude's shoulders. Like a soaked cloth, he stepped into the grand hallway of their mansion quietly, his slippers brushing softly against the polished tiles. The living room welcomed him with its usual silence. The house had everything words could offer: crystal, chandeliers, deep leather couches, marble flowers. But to Papa Jude, these things were just decoration. His son Raymond looked up from his tablet as he lounged on one of the couches. "Papa," he said, eyes narrowing, "what happened to your shirt? Looks like someone poured the whole street on you again." Papa Jude sat slowly on a wooden stool by the window, the one he always preferred. He let out a tired breath. "Raymond," he said calmly, "I saw the most disrespectful young woman today." Raymond rolled his eyes and set the tablet down. "Again, Papa? Why do you keep doing this to yourself? You don't need to be out there on the street. You live here in this house with me. You have everything you need." The old man turned his head slightly, looking at his son with those wide, searching eyes. "I will not stop, Raymond, not until I find you a woman who truly deserves to walk beside you." Raymond groaned and ran a hand through his hair. "Papa, please, not this again." "Yes, this again," Papa Jude said, voice firm now. "You are 36 years old. You are successful, but you need more than wealth. You need a partner, someone who won't just enjoy your riches, but build a future with you." Raymond hesitated, then finally spoke. "I have someone. I have been seeing her." The old man's back straightened. You have? Yes, I didn't tell you earlier because I wasn't sure how serious it was. But since you are bringing it up again, I might as well say it now. Papa Jude leaned forward, resting both hands on his cane. So, who is she? What's her name? What does she do? Where is she from? Raymond gave a faint smile. Don't worry, Papa. You will meet her soon. She is very beautiful. The old man raised a brow, his expression unreadable. Beauty isn't everything, my son. I know, Papa, Raymond replied with a small sigh. But there's something you should know. What is it? Raymond shifted uncomfortably, as if unsure how to begin. She is difficult. She is rude to people. She looks down on those who have less than her. Even when I try to talk to her, she doesn't see anything wrong. Papa Jude's face didn't change, but his silence spoke louder than words. Raymond continued, voice low. She spends carelessly. Every time I give her money, she buys more clothes, more shoes, more luxury. Not because she needs them, just to show off. And yet, sometimes she is sweet. Sometimes she's calm and kind. And she's smart too. That's why I have stayed. The room grew quiet. Then Papa Jude spoke. Does she respect you? Raymond looked away. Sometimes. The old man closed his eyes briefly, then opened them again, slow and steady. Raymond, let me tell you something I have learned in all my years. You can know a woman from the way she enters a room, the way she speaks to strangers, the way she holds silence. A wife should be a shelter, not a storm. She should protect your peace, not scatter it. I know, Papa, Raymond said quietly. You are right. Then bring her here, Papa Jude said. Let me meet her. Let me look into her eyes. If I see humility, I will bless the union with joy. But if I see pride, I will tell you the truth, even if it cuts deep. Raymond nodded slowly. Okay, Papa, I'll talk to her. Maybe she can come this weekend. Good, Papa Jude said, rising to his feet. But don't warn her. Don't prepare her. Let her come as she is. I want to see the person behind the performance. Raymond chuckled, shaking his head. You want to surprise her? No, the old man replied, a half smile on his face. I want her to surprise herself. As Raymond walked into the kitchen for a glass of water, Papa Jules stood by the window, hands behind his back. He stared into the distance, where the sun was now sleeping beneath the horizon, casting a golden glow across the sky. He loved the sun. He was proud of the man he had become, strong, brilliant, and generous. But he also knew that love can trick even the smartest man into calling a cage a crown. And he refused to stand by while his son walked blindly into the arms of a woman who would bury his light. The next day, he went out again in search of a good wife for his son. The sun was scorching that afternoon. Outside one of the city's busiest malls, he sat quietly beneath a tree. He never asked for anything. He only watched the world move, fast, careless, proud. Suddenly, a sleek red sports car pulled up with a loud screech. Music blasted from the speakers. Out stepped a woman in a tight designer clothes and tall heels. Her name was Cassandra. Her lips were red, her sunglasses large, and her attitude louder than the music she played. She stopped when she saw Papa Jude. You again, she hissed. Old man, are you haunting this spot or what? He said nothing. Do you enjoy sitting there like trash? Every time I come here, you are here. You are like a curse on this street. Still, he didn't reply. People like you should not exist in places like this. You are an embarrassment. She spat at his feet. Why don't you just disappear? But she didn't expect someone to speak behind her. That's enough. Cassandra spun around. A young woman had stepped forward. She wore plain navy scrubs and carried a stethoscope around her neck. Her name was Lydia. a trainee nurse working at a small city clinic nearby. She had just packed up lunch and was heading back when she saw everything. Excuse me, Cassandra snapped. You heard me, Lydia said, standing tall. You are insulting an elder in public like a wild animal. Have you no shame? Cassandra laughed cruelly. Look at you, scrubs and a stethoscope from a roadside clinic. What do you know? I know enough to treat humans like humans, Lydia said calmly, which clearly makes me richer than you already. Cassandra stepped forward. Careful how you talk. Do you know who I am? I don't care, Lydia replied, but I do know what you are. And what is that? Empty, loud, shallow. Cassandra's jaw dropped. How dare you? Leave, Lydia said flatly, before you embarrass yourself further. For a moment, silence filled the street. Then Cassandra stormed back into her car, slammed the door, and zoomed off without another word. Lydia turned to Papa Jude and offered a small smile. I am sorry I had to hear that, sir. Papa Jude's eyes lifted slowly, studying her. You didn't need to speak up, he said softly. But I couldn't walk away, she replied. My heart wouldn't let me. He smiled faintly. What is your name? Lydia. Thank you, Lydia, he said. Not many people would defend a stranger. She shrugged. Maybe not, but I see you, sir. You are not invisible. She sat beside him, her food bag still in her hand. You don't belong here, she added. You have the eyes of someone who's lived. You remind me of my grandfather. He passed last year. Papa Jules said nothing for a moment. Then, where do you work? At a local clinic down the road, Lydia replied. Long hours, little pay, but I love it. He nodded slowly. I want to help you, Papa, she said gently, if you let me. His brow lifted slightly. Help, how? I can bring you meals, check your blood pressure, even bring clean clothes sometimes. You deserve dignity. Papa Joe stared at her, not with surprise, but with quiet curiosity. You are not afraid I might be mad, he asked. She smiled. I am a nurse. I have seen all kinds of madness. This isn't one of them. Then she stood and handed him her lunch. Eat, Papa, I'll eat later. He hesitated. You sure? Yes, see you tomorrow. She waved and left. Papa Jude watched her walk away. For the first time in months, his chest ached, not from age, but from emotion. He leaned back and whispered to the wind, She is the one. At home that evening, inside a quiet, luxurious mansion, Papa Jude walked barefoot across the marble floor. The air smelled like clean linen and lavender candles. His son, Raymond, was reading by the glass wall when he noticed his father enter. You are late today, Raymond said. I met someone, Papa Jude replied. Raymond looked up. Who? Someone rare. He sat down slowly. A woman with fire in her bones and light in her heart. Raymond raised an eyebrow. Tell me about this woman. Her name is Lydia. She works at a clinic. She wore no makeup. Her clothes were simple. But her heart, he tapped his chest. Her heart was loud. Raymond went silent. She looked at me, not with pity, but respect. Papa Jude continued. She offered food and kindness and something I didn't expect, dignity. She doesn't even know who you are, Raymond asked. Exactly, Raymond exhaled slowly. Papa, Cassandra is coming tomorrow. Papa Jude stood. Let her come. I have already seen what good looks like. Don't bring me glitter and expect me to be impressed. His father's voice was calm but sharp. You are rich, Raymond, but you have been starving. Starving for what? For a woman who brings peace, not pressure. Joy, not judgment. Raymond had no reply. Papa Jude turned, walking towards the stairs. And when your Cassandra arrives tomorrow, he said, without turning, I will be waiting and I won't be quiet. The next morning came quietly. Papa Jude sat on the balcony, dressed neatly in a white flowing kaftan. His grey beard was combed. his sandals clean. He looked like a man ready to meet the day. But in truth, he was thinking deeply about someone. Lydia, a name that has stayed in his heart ever since the day she stood in front of him and told of a proud woman who insulted him like trash. Downstairs, his son Raymond walked into the living room holding a phone. Papa, he said, she's on her way. Let her come, Papa Jude replied calmly, eyes fixed on the clouds. Minutes later, the sound of an engine broke the silence. A black Lexus SUV glided through the compound, stopping in front of the house. The door opened with flair, and Cassandra, tall, flashy, and proud, stepped out like a queen on a red carpet. Her lips were painted deep red, her dress tight and loud. She walked in with a proud smirk. This place is fine, she said aloud. Not bad, not like my family home, but still okay. Then she saw the man sitting on the couch. She stopped. Her eyes widened. You? She whispered. Papa Jude looked up slowly. Yes, me. Cassandra's face lost its shine. Raymond looked between them, confused. Wait, do you know each other? Papa Jude stood up calmly. Twice, he said, voice low but steady. Once, when she nearly knocked me over with her car and called me a dirty beggar. The second time at the supermarket, she poured insults on me, called me a disgrace to the country. Cassandra took a step back. I didn't know who you were. You didn't need to, Papa Jude said firmly. You only needed to know I was human. Raymond turned to her, shocked. Is this true, Cassandra? I didn't mean it, she stammered. I thought he was just some poor man. Raymond's voice turned cold. So poor people don't deserve respect. I didn't say that. You said it with your actions, Papa Jude interrupted. If you had known I was the father of the man you claim to love, would you have treated me better? Yes, Cassandra whispered. Then you are not kind, Papa Jude said sharply. You are calculated. Raymond took a deep breath. Cassandra, we are done. No, please, listen. You disrespected my father. You showed your real face. Cassandra dropped her bag and reached for Raymond's arm. Don't do this. He pulled away. Papa, he said, turning to Papa Jude. You were right about people who look shiny on the outside, but are dark inside. Cassandra stood in silence as they both turned and walked away. Later that morning, Raymond needed space. His mind was heavy. The truth about Cassandra, it all felt too much. So he got into his car and drove, with no destination in mind. After a while, he stopped near a quiet corner behind some old shops. There was a big mango tree with a wooden bench under it. The breeze was gentle. He stepped out and sat down. For the first time that day, he felt calm. Then he noticed her, a young woman in a neat, simple dress. Her hair was tied back, no makeup, no noise. She stood near the clinic behind the shops, holding a brown file and a small collar bag. She looked tired but peaceful. She walked towards the mango tree and sat on the other end of the bench. She turned and gave a warm smile. Good morning. Raymond smiled back. Good morning. Are you waiting for someone? She asked. No, just needed a break. Too much in my head. She nodded. Same here. I just finished my shift at the small clinic over there. Oh, you are a nurse? Trainee, she replied. Still learning. We don't have much at the clinic, but I do my best. He looked at her, curious. That's not easy. It is not, she agreed. But I love caring for people, even if I don't have everything figured out. I want to help those who have nothing. Raymond was quiet for a second, then said, That's rare, very rare. She dropped her file back gently on the bench. I am Lydia. Raymond, he said, shaking her hand. They sat in silence for a few moments. The wind blew softly through the trees. Then she spoke again. Yesterday I met an old man sitting alone in front of a supermarket. A woman insulted him, called him useless and dirty. People just stared, but I couldn't keep quiet. I stood up for him. Raymond's heart jumped. I thought he was just a poor man, but he was calm, wise. After everything, he smiled at me and said thank you. It made me think sometimes the world forgets how to be kind. Raymond turned and stared at her. His heart beat faster. Did he say his name? No, she replied, but he said something I won't forget. He said, true love is seen in how we treat those who can do nothing for us. Raymond blinked slowly. He knew that quote. It was one of his father's favorites. I wish more people were like you, he said softly. She gave a small laugh. We are out here, just quiet, trying to do the right thing. I really admire that, Raymond said. Lydia looked at him. What about you? What do you do? He hesitated. Business. She raised an eyebrow. That's a Nigerian man's favorite answer, she teased. They both laughed. For a moment, everything felt light. Then she stood up. I should go. I have to drop these samples at the lab before noon. Raymond stood too. Can I walk with you? She looked at him and smiled again. Sure, if you don't mind the hate. I don't mind, he said, not today. And so, side by side, they walked down the quiet path behind the shops. Two strangers, brought together by peace, by timing, and maybe by something more. Neither of them knew it, but something real had just begun. The next morning, in a small clinic across the city, Lydia tied her hair into a neat bun and checked her patients. She was a trainee nurse, learning under pressure, with soft hands but a firm heart. Between checking blood pressure and giving injection, her mind wandered. Raymond, that quiet man she met under the mango tree behind the store. He was different. He listened. He laughed with his eyes. She felt safe. Later that evening, after work, she walked to her small apartment and found a piece of paper in her bag. It was the address Papa Jude had given her the day before. She stared at it. Come tomorrow, he had said. I want to show you something, with a house address written on it. The next morning, she stood in front of a tall white gate. Her heart beat faster. The house was like a dream. Could she have written the address wrong? I am here to see Papa Jude, she told the guard. He nodded. He's expecting you. She walked in slowly. As she stepped onto the tiled porch, her eyes widened. The house, it was elegant, peaceful, and standing there by the door, wearing a simple white shirt, was Raymond. Lydia froze. You? She breathed. He smiled. I should be saying the same. Before she could process the surprise, Papa Joe stepped out behind him. My daughter, he said warmly. Welcome. You? You live here? She stuttered. Yes, my dear. This is my home. Lydia took a step back. But at the clinic, you said you didn't have a house. I said I rest in a small shop. Sometimes. I didn't lie. I just wanted to see who would treat me kindly when they thought I had nothing. Lydia's eyes filled with tears. So it was all a test. Not a test, he said. Just a chance to see the heart of a person. Raymond stepped closer. I didn't know, Lydia. I had no idea you were the same woman my father kept talking about. Lydia was speechless. You gave me medicine, Papa Jude said. You cleaned my wound. You gave me food and sat with me when others passed me by. That is rare. That is beautiful. I was just doing what I have been taught, Lydia whispered. Care for the weak. No, Raymond said. You were doing what most people forget to do. You were kind when no one was watching. They walked into the house together. No longer strangers, but something more. That evening, Raymond held Lydia's hands. I won't waste time, he said softly. I love you. From the first day I saw you, not just your face, but your heart. Lydia looked at him deeply. I feel the same. I want to marry you, he said. Not later, soon. Lydia smiled. You must come to my village first. Meet my parents. I will, he replied. But listen carefully. Your parents must leave that village. I will give them a house here in the city. They deserve comfort. She gasped. You will do that? I am marrying into your family, Raymond said. Their happiness is my duty too. Tears fell down her cheeks. He wiped them gently. News spread quickly. Raymond, the quiet billionaire, was marrying a trainee nurse from a small town. Some were shocked, others were jealous, but none were more bitter than Cassandra. She tried to destroy the wedding. She hired a dangerous man named Goma to plant drugs in Raymond's office and eliminate Lydia and Papa Jude. But what she didn't know was that Goma had once been helped by Raymond. Years ago, when Goma's daughter was sick and dying, Raymond paid for her treatment. He also gave Goma's wife a job. When Goma heard Cassandra's wicked plan, he recorded the call. The next day, he went straight to Raymond and played the recording. Raymond's eyes burned with anger and pain. She wanted to destroy everything. He called the police. Cassandra was arrested at a beauty spa and taken to court. There, the recording was played. The court was silent as Cassandra's voice filled the room with evil plans and insults. She cried. She begged. It was the devil. The judge said calmly, "The devil didn't make you speak. You did that all by yourself." She was sentenced to 10 years in prison. A month later, Raymond and Lydia were married in a beautiful ceremony filled with laughter and tears of joy. Papa Joe danced like a young man. Lydia's parents moved into the new house in the city. Raymond had kept his word. After the wedding, the couple traveled quietly for their honeymoon. On the beach, barefoot in the sand, Lydia held his hand and said, "This feels like a dream." Raymond smiled. "It is not a dream. It is the life we built, with truth, with love, and with heart." And so their new life began, not with riches or fame, but with honesty, respect, and a love that passed every test. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and comment what you learned from the story. Thanks for watching and hope you enjoyed the story.